back, everyone. How would all of us describe our relationships with our children? Close and loving, or distant and strained? Today, we're going to bring together families driven apart because of the relationships between fathers and their children. Phil Levinson has seen his children just one time in the past 4 years. His only contact is when they call him every other week. Wow, how tough has this been on you?
Well, it's one of the toughest things that you could probably go through as a parent. It sidetracks you from any other energy that you want to use for your business or anything. You're constantly thinking about it.
But why can't you see your kids anymore?
Well, it happened on a relationship was splitting apart, and it got to the point that an alienation was brought in on the factor that it just opened up too much, and it got away. You know, I think it did.
Well, you're kind of talking in generalities, Phil. Let's try to talk in specifics here. I assume you got divorced.
Yes.
Your kids lived with your former wife.
Yes.
Were you granted visiting rights?
Yes.
And what happened?
The visiting rights drifted apart probably maybe after a year or two, or 3 years, I guess it was. And we went into, the children were starting to, I don't know, it's hard to say. We were going into counseling and having controlled or watched visitations because the children were growing distant from me.
They didn't want to be around you?
They didn't want to be around me.
Why didn't they want to be around you?
Well, I think that they wanted to be around their mother and her becoming a husband at that point more than being with me, so they were just separating themselves from me.
They wanted to be with their mother and their future stepfather.
Yes.
And didn't want to be with you.
Yes.
Did you try to, I don't want to say get their attention, but did you try to be around them?
I've tried all the way through, even up to being on the show.
This is why you come on the show?
This is why I came on the show.
You want to be able to have some kind of a relationship with your kids?
Yes, I would like to work with the mother and myself to work on a relationship with the children.
At this time, the court has said, as I understand it, the contact that you are to have with your children is every other week at precisely 3:30 in the afternoon. They are supposed to call you.
Yes.
That's the strangest relationship I've ever heard of.
It's the strangest that they've ever seen up there.
You don't live in the same town?
No.
And so every other week at 3:30, who calls you?
Now, it all depends, either my son or my daughter.
Do you get along with one of them more than the other?
Maybe my son, he doesn't, you know, he answers my questions on a 1 or 2 word answer basis.
This is your son, Philip. How old is he now?
11.
And how old is your daughter, Bryn?
13.
So what kind of phone conversations you say? I mean, what do you talk to your son about on the phone?
Well, I got into the point where X-Men and his chemistry set. You know, I was talking to the doctor what we should be saying. You run out of things to say after a while, you know, without, well, asking them if would you like to come up for visitations.
But this has been 4 years since you've been able to talk to your kids face to face.
That's right.
So you've had these every other week phone calls for 4 years?
That's right.
What about your daughter? What do you talk to her about?
I try to talk to her about, well, now her hobbies, or she wants to be a veterinarian.
And what's her attitude?
She doesn't want to see me. You know, she's bitter towards me. She hates me.
Does she not want to talk to you?
She doesn't want to talk to me, no.
Do your kids, I mean, do you get the feeling your kids are afraid of you?
Yes.
Why?
I think they think that I'm a threat to their mother. The things I was saying about their mother, they're taking it that I was trying to bash her. And the only reason why I was trying to bash her was I was trying to tell them the truth about what really happened in certain cases.
So what you're really saying to us is that you feel that your former wife has alienated your children against you, maybe from previous acts that you participated in with their mother.
Yes, the doctor had diagnosed it that way, and the judge up in Pennsylvania had a court order, or had a, how would you say, a
judgment?
Well, it wasn't a judgment. We just had it, it came down, that was the point. They they dropped all the charges or whatever was going to be against, because putting, say, a mother, not just necessarily the children's mother, in jail would not gain anything. So what we're trying to do is work a relationship out.
Let me try to go back. What is it that they really resent? What specific things did you do that your children really resent?
Probably telling them the truth.
In terms of their mother?
Their mother, right, and her husband.
What did you tell them about this?
I told them that I was being set up and framed, that their stepfather, now, it wasn't then, attacked me, and he would run inside the house, and they would call the police in front of my children and tell them that I did these things. To this day, they still deny it, and they won't do it, and I'm willing to take any lie detector test or sodium pentothal, anything at all.
Did you threaten to get their stepfather fired at his job?
I wrote the letters to the personnel officer.
Why?
Because he used to call me, I shouldn't say used to, he called me, I think, once or twice, I believe it was, at my own job, and didn't harass me, but made it known that he knew where I was working. I made it known to them how he actually did these things and what kind of a person he was.
Okay.
And if it was all true, why would he, if it was such a big problem, why doesn't he just go out and tell them?
Okay. So out of all of this chaos of he said, she said, he said, you said, this said, your kids have not been around you in 4 years. And you want to have a relationship with them. And that's why you came on this show.
Right.
Okay? When we come back, Phil's children are going to be here. And he'll face them face to face for the first time in 4 years.
Only Freedent won't stick to most dental work and offers Winter Fresh, the flavor that makes your mouth feel cooler and your breath fresher. What a perfect pair. Winter Fresh Freedent, the perfect gum for almost perfect teeth.
I remember Grandma's baking, how she just had a hunch when the banana nut bread was ready. What a taste. Today in my kitchen, I enjoy that same home-baked taste every time I have this post-banana nut crunch cereal. Real banana baked into crunchy oat clusters mixed with chopped walnuts and crispy wheat flakes for an irresistible baked-in banana nut taste. You'll love it. I got a hunch. Try Banana Nut Crunch for home-baked taste in your cereal bowl.
Yoplait custard style. Low-fat yogurt, calcium-rich, with active yogurt cultures for active women. Smooth, creamy Yoplait. Do it for you.
Drafting computers turn numbers into lines. And with the right skills, you can turn those lines into a great career. That's why a call to ITT Tech makes sense. At ITT Technical Institute, you can earn a degree while you learn computer-aided drafting. When you're ready to line up a career, the lines are always open at ITT Tech.
Call ITT Technical Institute at 1-800-942-0077 for an informative brochure. That's 1-800-942-0077.
We offer the best selections of beef to our customers.
The Blue Ribbon Meat Department at Abco Foods.
These are the type of cuts that we are very proud of, that we put in our meat case, that we would take home to feed our own families.
We want them to come into the store and be completely and totally satisfied.
I've tried the other stores in our neighborhood and always go back to Abco.
Always first in freshness, only at Abco Foods.
Blue Ribbon meats are first in quality.
We've just met Phil Levinson. He hasn't had a face-to-face conversation with his children in 4 years. His children are here today, so let's bring them out. Philip, who's 11, and Bryn, who's 13. Oh. Why? Why'd you do that, Bryn?
Well, when he was out here first, I heard him tell a lie. He told us, or he didn't tell us anything about his job for a whole year, and he was saying about how my stepdad called his job and told all these things. That never happened because we didn't even know about the job for a whole year. He wouldn't tell us.
Let's get back to something else, just what you did right there. Why do you want to move your chair there?
Because I don't want to sit beside him.
Why?
Because he's such a liar. I caught him in so many lies.
Tell me about them.
Okay, he says how he's gonna pay for our braces. He makes these promises how he's gonna pay for the braces and my glasses, and he's supposed to pay half. He never does.
He threatens us.
He threatens you?
Yeah.
How does he threaten you, Philip?
He says he's gonna put my mother in jail, and he has her in contempt of right now.
Uh-huh.
He lies about that too.
Let me just pause here for a second. You haven't seen your kids in 4 years. How do they look?
It's great.
Yeah. What about what they just said about you?
Well, which part do you want to take first?
Well, first of all, let's take this part, where your own children are moving their chairs away from you. Oh. Okay. You don't want to be around your father, do you, Philip?
No.
You know, it drives me nuts when I see something like this. I mean, there's something special that every parent feels about their children. We want to think that. And we want to think that what we feel special about our kids is somehow reciprocated. That deep in our hearts, despite everything that's going on, there's a special bond that we have towards our children. And we want to think that they have that same feeling about us. I don't see it. I don't see it.
I could have told you that.
Do you blame yourself?
Yeah, to some degree, sure.
How about to all of the degree? No?
No. No.
Because you feel that your children have been turned against you.
Oh, I know they have.
Okay.
The courts know they have.
Let me ask you this, Bryn. When you go to sleep at night, when you're alone, maybe with your friends, maybe with your brother, do you ever think, gosh, I wish we could have a relationship with Dad?
No. Because I know how he is. No.
Why? Because you feel he's lied too much?
Yes.
He's made it too hard on your mom?
Mm-hmm.
He's made it too hard on your stepdad? Any other reasons? Or is that enough?
That's enough right there, but there's more, yes.
Like what?
Okay, he always yells at me. When we have to make this phone call, he yells. And he calls names. He says I'm off in another world and I'm a dodo bird and stuff like that, and I don't know what I'm talking about, you know, and so, I mean, all these things, it just makes me not like him.
When you were first told by the judge and your mom that you had to call your father every other week at 3:30,
I hated it.
Did you begin to dial the number, it ring, there was an answer, and then you would hang up the phone because you didn't want to talk to him?
No. We had to, oh yes, we did. We had to do that. I mean, we didn't have to, but
you thought you had to make the call, but you didn't think you had to talk to him?
Yes, because I didn't want to talk to him, so I knew if I just called, I mean, that would be the phone call, because I didn't want to talk to him, so.
Yeah. You can't think of any way that you could have any kind of relationship with your father?
No.
Then let me ask you this. Let him go. Why don't you just let him go? If you feel that...
they don't know the truth about me, that's why. You wouldn't like to be lied about, would you?
No.
Okay, neither do I. And that's why I'm taking it as far as I have taken it, and always will.
Just stand right up here. This is Serena, and this is Bryn's and Philip's mother, right?
Right.
Okay. Does it hurt you at all that there's no relationship between your children and their father?
Well, I do feel bad about it, but I feel that he's brought it on himself over the years with things he says to them and the promises he makes and doesn't keep, things like that.
Were there other promises beside what Bryn mentioned?
Well, there's times when, like, say at Christmas time, to use an example, he would tell them he got them gifts, and he'd put a condition on it. He'd give them the gifts if they would visit him or see him, and they wouldn't agree, so then he'd tell them, well, I'm giving the gifts away to other children then. Things like that.
Do that?
No. No. What I wanted to do was at least know what they were buying, okay? That's all. Not to come and visit me. That was only recently, and that wasn't even a challenge to her. She wanted to go get sneakers. I said, fine. How about if I go with you?
Have you
I was told by the doctor to say those things in a nice way, okay? Ask Dr. Gordon.
As you all have been in counseling?
Yes.
Has the counselor ever said, gee, is there any way we could build some kind of bridge here between father and children?
She's led me to believe that she doesn't think there is a way. That too much has gone on over the years between him and the children.
Have you ever thought, maybe if I just back off, or maybe if I just, I'll tell you, in an effort to get some kind of a relationship, I'll make this sacrifice, whether it's true or not. I'll admit everything everybody wants to say about me.
For what?
Just to have a relationship with my children.
If they want to, I mentioned that at the doctor's office. I'll drop everything. I don't care. I know what happened in the past. I'll drop it. Who cares? I'm looking at the future, or else I wouldn't be doing this.
Well, that's what we're looking at.
That's fine.
But the thing is, what we have talked about here is you feel that you're really not responsible for a lot of the things that the kids say you are responsible for.
Of course.
And you just won't give up on that. And the kids won't give up on their feelings, whether they're right or wrong. So is there any kind of middle ground here to go to?
I will more than do anything at this point to work with the mother and say, fine, let's forget about it and let's start from new so I can have a relationship with the children.
What do you think about that, Serena?
Well, we've tried over these last 10 years since I had left
And what
him.
happens? Something always comes up?
Yeah, it has to be his way or no way. He always wants things the way he wants it. He doesn't really want to, like, compromise or, you know.
Is that a good description?
No, hardly.
I can't get agreement on anything here.
Now, what was the things that I wasn't supposed to agree on? I don't understand.
Well, you won't accept the children's feelings, and you want to blame me for it when you brought them on yourself.
Well, how come? The doctor knows it, and the judge knows what you've done. You
I
know
haven't
that.
done anything.
You know that.
I have
You've
not
been accused
done
of the worst
anything.
case of child alienation that they've ever seen, ever.
If I
Ever. That's
wasn't
why they don't know
willing
what
to
to
help,
do, Serena,
if
and you
I
know that.
If I wasn't willing to try, I wouldn't have had the children come here today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Fran.
I can't stand when he tries to overtalk someone. When my mom's trying to talk, he sits there and tries to overtalk her. He does it with me and my brother. He doesn't let anyone finish a sentence because he knows we're telling the truth. And I don't...
It could be a bad habit. Have you ever thought that that's a bad habit of yours, Phil?
That is a bad habit, but what they're saying is not true.
No, but how you approach things has a lot to do with what you did or you didn't do or how they're going to feel about you. That's all I'm saying.
That's true. Actions speak louder than words.
And if your former wife is saying something, and by the way, there's a co-parent here. I mean, but at this point, she's more than a co-parent. I mean, she's about 9/10 of a parent.
Mm-hmm.
And she's trying to say something, and you did talk over.
Mm-hmm.
He does it all the time.
And for what? Control?
That's what I feel.
We're going to continue with this family after this.
There are prime rib days and meatloaf days. That's how you make a week, and something we care about at Albertsons. Because even on the days when you don't get the fancy cut, you should still get the best quality. And advice if you want that. In short, the best we have to give and an honest low price every day. Albertsons, it's your store.
We know you're busy, so we'll abbreviate this offer. I.e., if you like TV, you'll want to get this offer ASAP. FYI, 47 channels, including the Disney Channel, are just $22.50 a month, and installation is only $15. You'll want to call CSR PDQ. Of course, our VP wants to remind you that A&E, AMC, CNN, MEU, and the NFL on TNT are all part of your basic cable package. To RSVP, call this number. P.S. You'll be an MVP around the house.
House of Furniture's Labor Day weekend sale. Finest quality name brand furniture, bedding, and accessories. 5-piece dinettes, Labor Day sale price, $188. Fuller rockers, Labor Day sale price, $89.95. 4-piece bedroom group, Labor Day sale price, $399. Payments, no problem. Take 12 months to pay with no money down and no interest on approved credit. That's right, no interest for 12 months. Hurry! Celebrate the Labor Day values. Sale ends Monday. From our house to yours, happy Labor Day. House of Furniture, Broadway at Craycroft.
This week on Siskel and Ebert, it's time for Guilty Pleasures.
If you're going to go fishing, you've got to have the right bait.
We'll tell you about the movies we're embarrassed to admit we really like.
He really,
a collection of the strange, the funny, and the frightening.
Groovy.
Guilty pleasures. This week on Siskel and Ebert.
Reaching out across America, the stars you love and your neighbors too. You can join the celebration. Lend a hand to MDA. There's so much you can do. Stars across America.
Jerry Lewis and Stars Across America, September 4th and 5th, here on KGUN 9.
Place for you.
A legend, a fall from grace. A nation watches, and the story continues. Friends of OJ tell you how this could have happened on the next Maury.
How can you begin to heal the relationship between you and your child? Nina Miller is a family therapist in private practice in California. We're going to get to you in a moment. And nice to see you. I didn't have a chance to say hello.
I know, hi. I was wondering if you had a close relationship with your children before the divorce?
No, they were very young. Yes, actually, my daughter was 2 years old, and my son was 6 when they were taken away. But my daughter used to wave to me on the way back out to when I was going to work, and we used to laugh and play, you know, that way. Take her to the park and my son.
Do you have any memories, good memories of your father?
No, so I don't know where he's getting this.
Ask the mother.
Well, you were only 2.
Yes, I know.
Don't you think after you have the children that you should kind of forget about yourself and lean a little more towards to make them happy?
What should I do? Huh? Sure, what? Tell me.
I'd be glad to.
Go ahead, Nina.
Phil, there's only one way that you can ever conceivably repair this relationship, and believe me, I've only gotten bits and pieces with some history prior to the show, is to paradoxically leave them alone. And the reason for that is that the relationship is so destroyed at this point that even if you're right, even if you are totally right, and I don't believe anybody is totally right about the way you've been victimized in this relationship, they are unavailable for your love right now. That if you've really had a change of heart, if you want to be a different kind of father to them, the only gesture of goodwill you can show them is to let go.
But
and
Nina,
have no contact with them.
let me ask you this.
Yes.
Here's the fear. If I let go, I'll never get them back.
That may be true, but if he doesn't quit, he's never going to get them anyway. He'll never get them back. There's a wall between the children and their father, a mile thick.
Tell me how Phil can say goodbye and get them back.
I'm not sure he can. I'm honestly not sure he can, but the only possible way is to show them, first of all, the mom said something in the audience that was really important, and I'm not sure if the kid said it too, which is he's not hearing their feelings. And what's happening is every time he turns to them and says, I want you, I love you, I want to be with you, I don't care what your mother says, everybody's lying, I really mean well, and they're saying we don't want you, he says, I don't care what you want, I don't care what you feel, I don't care what you think, I want you. Well, what that does is it discounts all the children's wants and needs, their feelings, their desires, and he discounts that to the point that they don't want anything to do with him.
I think it's very hard for us to sit and judge an entire situation by just listening to you for a couple of minutes, but by the same token, I feel that the father, like, so far, he seems very hostile and defensive and very rude toward the children, and toward you. I mean, you're yelling at Maury. He's just a mediator.
Wait a second. I don't feel he's yelling at me. He's not yelling at me.
To me, it seems like he's being very defensive
No,
and whatnot. And if you act that way, just a recommendation, sir, with all due respect.
I've had much worse.
But with all due respect, sir, I really think that unless you calm down, you're going to scare the children away more so.
That's how he always acts, though.
What's that? What's that? What's that?
He acts like that all the time when we talk to him on the phone, and really mean and always yelling and rude and never lets us finish anything. He's always like that, and I don't like that.
Why don't you tell him about all the times you used to call me a scumbag and Phil, and what about those times, Bryn? The only time I ever yelled at you was after all those things were done. How would you feel as a father being told from his son and daughter that you're a scumbag, and I hate you, and I want to see you dead?
This feels awful to be in the middle of this, I can tell you.
I don't want to just see one side.
Yeah.
Let's see the other side.
Wait a minute, I never said I wanted you dead. Right there, that's a lie. I never said that.
You said you'd rather see me dead.
No.
Okay, but if she has that kind of hatred for you, what is it going to do for you to continue to try to push yourself on her?
Well, I'm not trying to. I'm just saying, look at the other side of what was I was being listened to for 4 years on the phone. As a father, I think I had a right to say, listen, I'm getting sick and tired of being told this. This is nonsense. For my children, with the mother standing there and agreeing with all these things?
Yeah, I know how angry you are,
You
and
know.
I know how hurt you are. And that's, I mean, I think everybody here, Phil, can see your pain. I hope you can, because I can see it and I can feel it sitting next to you. I just would like to help you solve this, and it's a paradox about letting go and about accepting what your children need and want more than what you need and want. And the hope is that if you can do that and consistently follow through with it, that there will be a time later when they will want to reconnect with you.
Okay.
I'm really hoping that's the case.
Stay right here. We'll move on. Next, we have a son who can't seem to find respect for his own father. But first, here's a clip of a powerful video which shows the hurt one teen feels because of the distant relationship with her father.
What do you need?
A father, most of all.
Why most of all a father?
I'd always had a mother, in a way, I guess. But no father. I'd have these men, but they always leave. Men always leave.
Why do men always leave? What's wrong with you, honey, that men always leave?
A promotional fee has been provided by
Hot Pockets, filled with pepperoni pizza or ham and cheese in a crispy pocket.
What do you gonna pick? Hot Pockets.
Try Lean Pockets, too. When was the last time you bought a quality piece of furniture? Now's the time at Desert Design Center. Stop in and see our new, larger, and more convenient location. Our showroom is full of quality furniture, including sofas, love seats, dining room sets, bedroom sets, entertainment centers, office furniture, and kids furniture, too. And right now, everything is on sale during Desert Design Center's grand opening. Plus, no interest and no payments for 6 months. Visit our new location today, 4146 East Speedway, Desert Design Center. Quality furniture through design.
Last Friday night, we took a ride to a place we love to shop. Down Palo Verde, past our way to the Twinkle Verde swap. If you want to buy and need to sell, you can really have a ball. Cause the Twinkle Verde two-step is the way to do it all. Well, the Twinkle Verde two-step is a step above the rest. At the Twinkle Verde swap meet, it's the biggest and the best. The Twinkle Verde two-step leaves the others all behind. At the Twinkle Verde swap, a good old friend of yours and mine.
Southern Arizona. This weekend, Apollo Carpets presents our holiday weekend carpet sale. We're slashing prices on thousands of rolls of better quality carpet in all styles and colors, including DuPont Certified Stainmaster, up to 65% off everything. No extra charge for professional installation, and 12 months to pay.
Hold it, Tucson. We are doubling the free interest to 24 months, 2 full years. Don't miss this great sale at all Apollo stores.
This fall, come through the studio gates and get the inside word on entertainment from a new television program. Extra is going to take you inside. Go behind the scenes with Extra, the entertainment magazine, for a close-up view and a fresh new look that makes you feel like you're an insider. Extra, the entertainment magazine, the world of entertainment from the inside.
Extra premieres September 5th on KGON 9.
Gordon, right?
Yes. Have you ever worked with anything high-tech?
No. Thank you for the resume.
But we're looking for someone with
More education.
Some experience.
Good luck to you.
What you don't know can hurt you. So let ITT Tech help. Call 1-800-942-0077 for an informative brochure. That's 1-800-942-0077.
Next.
If we could say something to Dad, your dad, what would you say?
That I want him to love me. I want him to show that he loves me. Call me once in a while.
That was another clip from the video called Dear Distant Dad. The video is an example of how most young people desperately need their parents. Jack Woolworth produced that video in hopes that it will help families in crisis. He's also a teen counselor, and he's worked with our next guests. We're going to talk with Jack a little later. Greg Carlston and his son Tyler have a relationship that many can relate to. The distance between them is not so geographic. They live in the same house, but emotionally, they're miles apart. You don't respect your father, Greg?
Not as it, when it comes to discipline, no. Because I'll do something wrong and he'll discipline me. And then, my friends will always joke around about it because, they'll laugh at me because, I'll do something pretty, bad and he'll ground me for it. And then, 5 minutes later, I'll be out and about and he'll be like, you're grounded for 2 weeks.
So what you're saying is, he's not tough enough on you.
No.
He's easy. Right? He's a cupcake.
I mean, it sounds cool to most kids, and they'd be like, yeah, I wish my dad was like that, but it's not. I've been in a lot of trouble because of it. Because I didn't learn to accept rules, and my dad didn't put down no rules, so I think there are no rules.
Now, this is a very interesting situation, because let's go back into the history a little bit, as I understand it. Your father, Greg, wasn't the disciplinarian in your house for a long time. Who was?
My mom.
And how did she discipline you?
She just set down the rules and said, if you do this, you're going to pay the consequence. And
she was tough when it came to rules.
Well, she wasn't tough. She just laid it down. She said, do this or do that.
And you had respect for your mom.
Yeah.
And then your mom started to work, and your father stayed home, and Greg became the disciplinarian. And this is how we come to your feelings that you have no respect for him because he can't discipline you.
Basically.
What do you think about that?
I think that the main problem is that Greg wants to be loved so much. He wants so much to be liked and cared about that more important, he wants Tyler to love him than Tyler to even respect him, or even Tyler to behave himself. It's more important. So what happens with Greg, Greg, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but for Greg, he'll be angry and feel personal when Tyler does something wrong.
Well, let me ask you that. What about that?
Well, you try to put all this together in terms of your own youth and growing up, and as I worked with my father, or grew up with my father, he was a very autocratic kind of a guy, and I kind of put it in my mind that I was not going to be like that growing up, that I was going to be much more there for my kids and much more understanding, and it's surprising when it kind of blows up in your face, that you can't be too autocratic because then you find yourself abrasive with your kids, and yet if you go the other way, you still end up where you are.
It's very strange, and maybe you want to get in this too, Nina,
sure.
but I'll tell you, I thought my father was a tough dad. He wasn't nearly as tough as I thought he was, but I thought he was a tough dad. And I used to say to myself, boy, when I get to be a father, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be that way. Here's the problem. I didn't have boys, okay? I have 2 girls, right? And I'm the softest father in the world. And for some reason, because of girls, I couldn't that dynamic kind of exploded in my face. Because I always thought that I wasn't going to be the real tough disciplinarian, but at the same line, Nina, and jump in here, and Jack jump in here too, there's a fine line, isn't there?
Yes.
Yeah, but the problem comes up in a lot of times where love is expressed in discipline. Love is expressed in relationship. And so what happens for Greg, for instance, is that Greg will put the discipline out there and he'll say, here's the discipline, but then he feels that compassion. He just lets him go 5 minutes later. And Tyler doesn't feel the love. Tyler doesn't feel like he's really cared about. When I work with Tyler a lot of times, and sometimes I'll even discipline Tyler. I'll say, Tyler, you're not going to do this. I care about you, and what happens to you is important. You are not going to do this.
And you're just a friend, right?
Yeah, well, I'm a counselor. I'm his counselor in a relationship, but you're not going to do that. I'm not going to see you die. You are not going to do this. Whereas Greg will have a tendency to take it more personal. And it's like, what, Tyler, why are you doing this to me? You're hurting me, son. Just do what's right, and we'll be fine.
Do you ever feel that you're hurting your father when he lays down a rule, then, you don't pay any attention to it, and he doesn't care whether you pay any attention to it? Do you ever think you're hurting him?
No, I just think, oh, the better for me.
Is he hurting you?
A lot of times, yes.
It feels that way. It feels like he's being hurt all the time.
It's so hard for me because one, I don't, want to interfere with.
But is this weird? Is this?
No, it's very normal.
Is it normal?
Yes, but the problem is that it's not a child's job to take care of his parents' feelings. It's the parent's job to reassure the child that he can stand his feelings if something's going on that he doesn't like. And I feel for Greg because if you're, as what your therapist says, is taking this personally, it's got to be so painful for you to take stands with your son and to take a position. And if I understand from some of your history, you have 2 other children, and being a more gentle father worked with them. But it's like a football team where you're the captain, and the way you played the game with other teams worked, and it's not working with this one.
Well, I mean, you have to go back a little bit. We've gone through a lot in the last year, and we've come a long way in the last year.
I hear that.
And I have 3 other kids, 2 girls and another boy, and, sometimes you come from saying, what is the right way to do this? Just do what's right, and things will work out okay. And it's tough when your children can't respect coming from that,
Have you taken a different attitude? You say you've been working on this, and you've
Yeah, we've worked
progress.
with Jack, and Jack's given us a lot of really great ideas.
Well, let me ask you something. When you have to lay down the law to Tyler now, do you ever pull back on it?
Yes and no. I mean,
It's still very hard.
Yeah, I mean, we lay down the law, but he's been a lot better about doing it, so we don't have to come down as hard as we used to.
And you need to remember, as you join in this, is that for Greg, it's like if Tyler does something, he feels hurt by it.
Tyler, here's what troubles me. You say you've lost respect for your father, right? If I was your father, I'd be crushed if my child lost respect for him.
It's not that I haven't lost full respect for him. I have a lot of respect for him. He's my dad, I love him. But in the field of raising me and like how he raised me, it's just how he took the approach of saying, Tyler, you did this wrong. That's where I lost respect. I don't respect him that. It took me a year ago, I didn't have any respect for him at all. But, I wouldn't, he's tried to help me a lot, And so that's like bringing back my respect. So I have a lot of respect for him.
So you feel that within the last year you've got something to build on?
Yeah.
Okay. Next, a father who has found a secret to communicating with his daughter. If you're a parent, you don't want to miss this. Did your dream of a perfect wedding turn into a nightmare when you were left at the altar? Call us at 1-800-593-2000.
You make me feel so young. You make me feel there are songs to be sung.
Discover fat-free Promise Ultra. 0 fat with just 5 delicious calories a serving.
And every time I see you grin,
It's the first fat-free margarine. Definitely one of a kind.
you make me feel so young.
Regular or fat-free Promise Ultra. Get heart smart.
There must be something in this. This is not just like blown up corn.
It doesn't look like it was stamped out. It looks natural.
They're not flakes. They're just little, small, crunchy things.
Grape nut cereal. What's in it for you?
When it hits your mouth, you're so surprised. It's a good wake-up, start the day kind of taste.
It's not one that goes soggy in your mouth.
They stay crunchy forever.
It makes my body happy and it makes my mouth happy.
Grape nuts. There's lots in it for you.
I think crunchy's great for you. What do you want, soggy, flabby? I mean...
It's big, it's bold, it's big and juicy hot dogs from Oscar Mayer. Zestier. Bursting with flavor.
What a hot dog.
Big and juicy. We're talking taste, big time.
Only Freedent won't stick to most dental work and offers Winter Fresh, the flavor that makes your mouth feel cooler and your breath fresher. What a perfect pair. Winter Fresh Freedent, the perfect gum for almost perfect teeth.
There are prime rib days and meatloaf days. That's how you make a week, and something we care about at Albertsons. Because even on the days when you don't get the fancy cut, you should still get the best quality. And advice if you want that. In short, the best we have to give and an honest low price every day. Albertsons, it's your store.
It's our biggest sale of the year. This Labor Day weekend at Sun Valley Waterbed. Pay no interest and make no payments till March next year. Everything is marked down for immediate sale. Huge selection of futons starting at only $99. Soft-sided flotation beds starting at only $199. This beautiful waterbed only $269. Sheet set $16. Free water conditioner with any bed test rest. Hurry, sale ends Monday 9 p.m. at all Sun Valley Waterbeds showrooms.
A legend.
Mr. Simpson is a fugitive of justice right now.
A fall from grace. A nation watches.
Not guilty.
And the story continues.
He's O.J. Simpson. I think you know his record.
On the next Maury Povich show, friends of O.J. tell you how this could have happened. America speaks out on the next Maury.
Okay, we've seen how these relationships between fathers and their children have been fractured, and now we're trying to heal, or at least start to heal, these relationships. A few years ago, when Dwight Twilley's career as a rock and roll musician was just beginning, his marriage was about to end. Even though he moved to another state, he was determined to keep a strong relationship with his daughter, Dion. He came up with an idea called the Dad's Test, and he explains it in a new book called Questions from Dad. So what's the test? What's the Dad's Test?
I was always really frustrated by the idea that there was only like letters, phone calls, and occasional visits to spark some kind of connection between us. So about 4 years ago, I came up with this idea to send her this little fun and personal questionnaire I call the Dad's Test. And Dion responded so enthusiastically, and it was so much fun for me that it just kind of snowballed, where the first test was like a single sheet of notebook paper with just a few questions on it. It snowballed into these like 10, 15-page booklets of, you know, it's first place, the idea was to make it clear that these tests were fun and personal. Right. And so right away it would be things like, what is your favorite TV show? What is your dog's favorite TV show? You know, so, you know, and at first also too, when
I mean, you would say, how's your mom? Good, not so good, bad.
To make it fun.
And you would check off
and
one of these things.
Yeah, I'd have different things, true, false, multiple choice,
and what
fill
did
in
you
the
think of all
blanks.
this? What did you think of all this, Dion?
Well, first time I got it, I was like really excited, wanting to do it right away. And it's fun, and it's not like all questions. Some of it is like drawings and puzzles and stuff like that.
So you liked it? Mm-hmm. And what did you feel about your dad when you got this thing?
It was funny, you know.
But did you get the feeling that, my gosh, my dad really cares for me? He really took the time to sit down and compose this kind of test. Did you think that too? Mm-hmm. And it brought you closer together.
Absolutely.
My first feeling when I saw it was, I'm telling you right now, kids don't write anymore. All they're doing is checking off multiple choice. They're doing true, false. I mean, nobody writes letters anymore. And this is typical. All we do is watch TV, listen to the radio, listen to records.
Yeah, but these tests are fun, you know, because it's part of your child's life and your life. It's the things that surround her pets, her dogs, bits of sense of humor that we share between us.
And at the same time, I guess later on when you would talk to each other, would you talk about the test?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And that was fun, Dion.
Yeah, because we knew more to talk about.
Yeah.
About each other.
Ah, and because now you knew more about your father, and he knew more about you.
One of the things that I've noticed with teens when I work with them, so much they want to be pursued. They want Dad to go get them. They want Dad to chase after me, to let me know that I'm loved. We all want that.
Yeah, but do you want them to chase after you the way Phil is chasing after his
when you're
children?
chasing after them, you need to let them know that they're loved in a way that doesn't pursue my right. And so I have the need to be right. But they want to be pursued. What I hear in this book that's so great is that he's pursuing her and she could feel that.
Well, getting back to Phil, I was just wondering if it's possible if the therapist can meet with Phil and the mother and leave the kids out of it, because I don't think it's right for you to tell the kids another grown-up called you scum. They should be left out of that until you organize you two together.
I'd like to say something about that.
Do you want to respond to that at all?
I don't have a problem with any going to any place.
See, I don't think he would have a problem with that. I think the problem is that it may have gone farther than that. I'm sure that they've tried legal efforts and therapeutic efforts to solve the problem. If everybody was willing, they could try it again, and I definitely think the kids could be left out of it, because I don't think this man is emotionally divorced, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I'd like to go back to Phil again, if I could. Phil, I really feel that you need to take some of the hostility and anger and set it aside and put a little love in your heart.
Well, yeah, but that's a lovely thought. But
you try to put yourself in my position and see how you'd feel.
Try putting myself in your position.
Yeah.
I don't see any love shown to you. Tell your children you love them. Hug them. Give them a kiss.
How can you? You don't see them.
You know,
if you don't see
I tell
your
them every time I
children,
talk to them I love them.
you're not making enough of an effort if you're not seeing your children. There's a reason why your children feel the way they feel. There's a reason for it.
It may have been true years ago that had he behaved with them in a very, very different way than he's doing now, that there could have been love between this man and his children. Right now, the only way he can show his love is to honor their request. If he tries to love them more, it's not going to work.
Dwight, is what's happened with Phil and his children your worst nightmare?
That would be a nightmare, but I think in a lot of cases where families get into problems and there's like what I call the grown-up issues, I think that's where my technique can be helpful, because it sort of slides underneath that and
it
shows
gets
that
past he said, she said, I threatened, you threatened, he did.
Let's lose all
did.
that, and let's go into the special world between just dad and the kids. And if we're all confused about all these serious issues, why don't we just talk about, how about our little things of sense of humor? Your pets and your friends and your pals, and hey, Dad is just a normal guy like you. He's not all really that bad. You know, he's a normal person.
We'll be back right after this.
It's time to light up the grill for the Labor Day specials at Fry's Food and Drug Stores. This week from Fry's Meat Case, bring home fresh Tyson's Grade A fryer breasts for just 99 cents a pound. USDA Select New York strip steaks with a 1/4-inch trim are great on the grill at $2.99 a pound. And all of the great tastes of Coca-Cola are specially priced at 88 cents a six-pack. So light up the grill and take advantage of all the great Labor Day specials this week at Fry's Food and Drug Stores.
I'm Murray Lender in the fresh bread aisle with my Lender's Bagel Shop bagels. My bagels are fresh and chewy right out of the bag, and they'll stay fresh even days after you buy them. So try my Lender's Bagel Shop bagels.
Thanks, Murray.
Deliciously fresh for days.
This is a test of the emergency broadcast. The broadcasters of your area, in voluntary cooperation with federal, state, and local authorities, have developed this system to keep you informed in the event of an emergency. If this had been an actual emergency, the attention signal you just heard would have been followed by official information, news, or instruction. This station serves the Tucson area. This concludes this test of the emergency broadcast system.
It's our biggest sale of the year. This Labor Day weekend at Sun Valley Waterbeds. Pay no interest and make no payment till March next year. Everything is marked down for immediate sale. Huge selection of futons starting at only $99. Soft-sided flotation beds starting at only $199. This beautiful waterbed only $269. Sheet set $16. Free water conditioner with any bed test rest. Hurry, sale ends Monday 9 p.m. at all Sun Valley Waterbeds showrooms.
This thing's broken. This thing's broken. Does anybody know how to turn this off? Hold it, wait. Come on.
Follow the lights that you can see. Dropping a coach 5 times a week.
Coach premieres September 19th on KGOD 9.
I wanted to ask Phil were his children and him willing to take the dad test and see how it worked out.
How about that? Anytime. Anytime. You think that's a kind of stupid test, Bryn?
Yeah, I would take it, but it won't do any good.
Murray, one of the...
Why don't you think it would be very good?
Murray, one of the things that I really like about this thing...
Wait 1 second. Why wouldn't it be very good to you?
Because I know it won't do any good. He won't give in. He won't listen to what we have to say. And we could take all the tests, you know.
Murray, one of the things that's going on here, the questions have to do with him asking them about their behavior, their needs, their wants. They're saying that he never listens to them. Maybe if they began to do some of this kind of stuff, where he could ask rather than tell them what's going on, maybe there'd be some improvement.
I'd like to know what kind of a relationship the children have with their stepfather.
How about that? How do you get along with your stepfather?
Very well. I like him a lot.
Huh? Why do you think that?
Because he gives us what we need. He loves us, and he takes care of us. He doesn't lie or break promises.
You're really worried about your father breaking promises, aren't you? Really bothers you.
That means a lot to me when he says, I promise I'll do this, and then breaks it and doesn't keep it.
I have 2 questions. But Phil, I'd like to know if you've ever supported your children, and are you supporting them now? And to Greg, I'd like to know, what is your relationship with your other 3 children? Do you have the same problem as with this son?
Are you supporting your children, Phil?
Oh, yes. On what, a child support situation?
Yes.
Yes. Structured, sure.
And you're meeting those requirements?
Yes.
Greg?
Yeah, I suppose I have the same kind of relationship with my other kids in terms of wanting to do things that are fun and being a fun dad instead of, you know, being a real strict disciplinarian. But my other kids, they're wired up completely differently. So they have different needs.
Greg, something that I would want you to consider is that sometimes it's a little bit different, even when your children live under the same roof, as they do with you, that sometimes a direct question that you have to respond to immediately is sometimes a little intimidating and tough, you know. Are any of your girlfriends or boyfriends at school using drugs? You know, when you are using something similar to my technique, when your child is giving the kind of the freedom, the privacy, the secrecy to disappear into the room and respond to some of the things that Dad is wondering about, or how do you feel about this and that, you may be surprised at the responses that you will get to that you may not receive verbally.
Yes.
All right, I have a question for Tyler. You said you were breaking the rules and your father wasn't taking the right disciplinary actions. What were you doing that was so bad? I mean, how harsh are we talking?
Yeah.
Name it, bro. Name anything.
Well, obviously, at some point, it must have been bad enough where you thought you should have been punished a lot more than you were, right? Huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, one more question. Did you have a comment?
Yes, they're making Phil look like a monster, and I don't think he is. He sounds so good, you know?
He's not the monster that some people are pointing him out to be. We'll be back to wrap this up after this.
If you would like to join Maury in the studio audience, then call or write for free tickets. It's the Maury Povich Show, 221 West 26th Street, New York, 10001. Or call 212-989-3622.
Drafting computers turn numbers into lines. And with the right skills, you can turn those lines into a great career. That's why a call to ITT Tech makes sense. At ITT Technical Institute, you can earn a degree while you learn computer-aided drafting. When you're ready to line up a career, the lines are always open at ITT Tech.
Call ITT Technical Institute at 1-800-942-0077 for an informative brochure. That's 1-800-942-0077.
House of Furniture's Labor Day weekend sale. Finest quality name brand furniture, bedding, and accessories. 5-piece dinettes, Labor Day sale price, $188. Swivel rockers, Labor Day sale price, $89.95. 4-piece bedroom group, Labor Day sale price, $399. Payments, no problem. Take 12 months to pay with no money down and no interest on approved credit. That's right, no interest for 12 months. Hurry! Celebrate the Labor Day values. Sale ends Monday. From our house to yours, happy Labor Day. House of Furniture, Broadway, Craycroft.
Hungry? Here's food for thought. No matter how you slice it, American families are caught between making a living and caring for children and aging relatives. 1 in 3 Americans balances child and elder care. Without family caregivers, 7 million disabled older Americans would have no one to care for them. 23 million children have working mothers, but there's room for only 5 million children in licensed daycare. Pretty hard to swallow. Our families deserve the best. For free information, call 1-800-622-NCJW.
Dream of a time from yesterday and how it used to be. Dream of a place you've never been and have always longed to see. Dream of a sky that leads you on to your rainbow's end. Dream until you can dream no more and start all over again. You can hide your dreams away or share them with someone. I know a place where dreams come true in the Arizona sun. Arizona! You can hide your dreams away or share them with someone. I know a place where dreams come true in the Arizona sun.
Guests of the Maury Povich Show stay at the Kimberly Suites Hotel, a unique combination of European luxury and elegance, located in the heart of New York's fashionable East Side.
Final comments, Nina.
Final comments for Greg and Tyler. I was told once that children come in 3 kinds. They come in easy, medium, and hard. For an easy kid, you give a hug, you get a hug back. For a medium kid, you give 5 hugs for 1 hug. For a hard kid, you give 20 hugs, and 5 years later, you sit back and see what happens.
Okay.
And for Phil, I was also told in first-year master's school, would you rather be right or would you rather be in a relationship? And it's really tough when you're so needing to be right and you have so much anger to find a way to let go, to give these children some space, please, so that they can turn around and love you maybe sometime later.
I want to thank all of you very much for being here. Thank you, Phil. Bryn, Philip, thank you so much. Greg and Tyler, Jack, thank you so much. Dwight and Dion, it's good to see you. Nice to see this relationship working. If you'd like more information on how to obtain the Dear Distant Dad video and the book Questions from Dad, call our information line at this number, 212-627-3337. Thank you very much out there, everyone. Until next time, America. Monday, the evidence is mounting against O.J. Simpson. We'll go to one of O.J.'s favorite sports bars and talk with his friends about the O.J. they knew. Monday.
A promotional fee has been provided by Centrum Junior Vitamins features Shamu and his crew. Fun shapes bursting with fruit flavors. Centrum Junior, still more complete than any leading brand.
TV's Joanne Liebler.
If you ask me, every toilet needs 2,000 flushes with baking soda. Baking soda plus tough chlorine cleans and freshens up to 4 months. 2,000 flushes.